Episode 1 of Bill Rambling. Babbling? Maybe I'm babbling. Maybe I'm rambling. I'm not really sure what the hell I'm doing. To be totally honest with you, I'm bored in a hotel room. And someone sold me a GoPro cheap. Very much thanks to that person. As such, maybe I've decided to make some videos. You know, kind of a way for me to share some of the mistakes that I've made along the way, uh, some of the things that I would do different, as well as a way for me to communicate of my story with all the things that I chose to do wrong, right? Maybe it'll help others, you know. That would be really cool if it did. Some of you are probably just going to go, this guy's effing nuts, and hit the X and get the heck out of here, because you're like, no way am I listening to Bill babble. Some of you are probably going to be like, this guy's an idiot, like absolute idiot. I'm sure that's going to happen. With a podcast, I've gotten used to that. Like, in one ear, out the other ear, doesn't even, yeah. Like, if you don't like the channel, that's cool. It don't bother me at all. I do what I do for me and to help the people around me. But I gotta really say I've been very inspired by the recent social media influx in marathon canoe racing. I think it's a sign of growth in the sport and progress and exposure and things like that. And we're seeing fantastic race coverage now that we didn't see in the past. We're seeing social media influencers from medical professionals really talking to paddlers to there's a meme account on Instagram that kind of has fun with the sport. Like that's all positive signs, positive growth, and I love it. I love it a lot. I'm also doing it because it's a little bit of therapy. I haven't worked out very little since the canoe marathon last summer, 2025. A little bit of a nagging injury. I did finally break down and had some X-rays done yesterday. Moving into some physical therapy. I don't think it's anything major. The X-rays were clear. I think it's more muscular than it is like structure. It's just a matter of getting it fixed. It's been bugging me forever, and I've just pushed through it. Don't do that, by the way. Like this thing existed. I was looking through my own medical records, like back in 2018, 2019. Like I've been fighting kind of the same thing. So don't be Bill and just ignore your little nagging injuries. Get them taken care of. There's a lot of resources out there. But anyways, back on point. Okay, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a video series, kind of talking about some of the things training wise that I ran into in the sport of canoe racing that I was like, yeah, and then later I was like, that don't make a lick of sense. So the first thing for video number 1, right, is when I got into canoe racing. A lot of people don't know this. Some people do. I won a pretty decent amount of money playing poker one night, and everybody else in Grayling had raced canoes. It was the thing to do. So I took that money and I jumped on eBay and I bought a racing canoe. Had no idea, like none at all, about the sport of canoe racing. Didn't even really know a whole lot about endurance athletics, anything like that at that point. Like, I'd always kind of been a journeyman, like, observer, blah, 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 blah. But I bought this canoe. And when I got this canoe, I started kind of talking to people. What do you got to do? What do you got to do? And everybody's like, you got to paddle 100 hours, Bill. You paddle 100 hours. And you can race the AuSable River Canoe Marathon. And I was like, effing A, man, 100 hours. I can do that. That should be pretty obtainable. right? 100 hours, piece of cake, man. Yeah, 2014, like it, we didn't get 100 hours in, we didn't race the canoe marathon. Everyone knows that. 2015, got my 100 hours in, raced the canoe marathon, collected my very first finisher's jacket. Would definitely go back and do that whole thing completely different at this point in junction. Um, Everybody says 100 hours. Maybe they tell you 150 hours. Maybe they tell you 120 hours. Like that. That's what they tell you. You got to do this many hours. You got to do that many hours. You do this. You do that. It's gonna be great. Well, being Bill, I started to ask questions, and I was like, wait. When do we start counting our hours? Like, it seems kind of important. And people were like, oh, when you want to. I was like, hey. So if I want to start counting from here, that's what I do. Like, yeah, like some people count them, like literally when they start training for the race again, they count their hours. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to do 100 hours. So I did my 100 hours and collected that finisher's jacket. Well, it really makes a big difference over a decade later if you're doing 100 hours, 150 hours, 120, whatever that number is, and you start counting in November, or if you do that number of hours and you start counting in March, from an exercise side of things, and mind you, that's not what I ain't got no degree in exercise science, anything fancy like that. I am just a dude that stays in a lot of Holiday Inn Expresses. That's all. That's all I am. I may not be a doctor, but I've stayed in a lot of Holiday Inn Expresses. But here I am in yet another Holiday Inn Express. When you start counting those 100 hours, makes a difference. That quantity of hours, whatever that quantity is. If you do 8 random hours in January and February, and I did it. Like I went through last year, and part of the process of sitting out 2024, I really leaned into like my preparation, my logs. I put together spreadsheets, numbers, and all kinds of things, graphs, data, uh, and anything and everything you could imagine. Like, do 8 random hours in January or February like really help? I'm sure they do, but like, what's the value of that? Even more so for the people that are like, I got 100 hours in, and I started counting in November. Okay. The next flaw that I see with the quantification process, okay, and I'm a numbers guy. Don't get me wrong. Totally my world. Numbers are my life. I'm in the insurance game. Work for a pretty big corporation. I'm dealing with numbers every day, but I'm managing and leading people. Yeah. But is 100 really enough? Is 150 enough? Is 120 enough? Hell, is 100 too much? Do you not need that? Like, paddlers in the paddling community seem obsessed with setting an arbitrary number for their races. Oh, you got to have 70 miles for the 70, and you got to have 100 miles for the AuSable. Wait, I said miles, I meant hours, right? Runners do miles, paddlers do hours. Whatever. It's cool, man. Skiers, they do whatever. Kilometers? Yeah, it's metric system. Here in America, we speak like inches. So we do, not kilometers. Miles. But we pick it up. We're obsessed with that. I mean, right there, like, you gotta have 70 for the 70, 100 or 120 for the AuSable. Okay, so between the end of May and the end of July, we do only 30 to 50 mile hours. Like, how does that? The math doesn't add up. Like, I'm just thinking my way through it. It's weird, right? Uh, and then even within that time, okay, within that duration, what you do with that 100 hours, 150 hours, 120 hours, too many hours, too many hours. What you do within that is totally different for everybody. And I'll tell you straight up, like 2015, even 2016, all I did was slow hours. Low and slow hours, steady hours, base building hours. Zone 2. Man, and I love Zone 2, don't get me wrong. Love it dearly. Zone 2 hours. Zone 1 hours. There really is no difference between Zone 1 and Zone 2. That's a totally different, like, black hole, rabbit hole, time warp that I ain't got no time for that today. Um, no different. Zone 1, Zone 2, same thing. Intensity. But anyways, if you order a salad, and that's what Bill had for dinner tonight, because in contrary, just to set the record straight for those of you that listen to the podcast, I am not as fluffy as I thought I was. I stepped on a scale yesterday, and I'm only 6 pounds heavier than what I was, like, end of March, 1st of April last year. 6 pounds ain't nothing, baby. Ain't nothing at all. This is what peak male performance looks like. I can't say that straight face. If you order a salad, I love salads, okay? But all you do is pick up chicken, because this is the best part of the salad, man. Don't get me wrong, I like my tomatoes. I like a little bit of onion, really love some eggs on my salad. Man, some ham and some turkey. Like, if I get chicken, ham, and turkey on a salad, raisin grayling, Cobb salad, add brisket, thank me later. It's absolutely fantastic. But if all I eat is the meat and the cheese and some veggies, but I don't eat my lettuce, right? Like, what's that gonna do? Or if all I eat is the lettuce, I don't know what kind of sicko would do that. Like, this is what my food eats. Okay, like, you feed this to the chicken, or the pig, or the turkey, or the beef. Like, they eat the lettuce, man. I don't eat the lettuce. It's the same way with that quantity of hours, but nobody tells you that, or at least they didn't me when I first started out. All they said was, you got to do X amount of hours, and I was like, hell yeah, dog, I got this. X amount of hours. Rock on, dude. We're gonna be the greatest thing ever. That Andy Treebold dude better look out, because he ain't seen nothing. I'm gonna do X amount of hours. Wave to the fans. Steal all the women. Probably not. Happily married, thank you very much. And ride off into the sunset. As we all know, that didn't actually happen. Probably because I didn't eat my lettuce. But anyways. The next question really becomes, okay, I gotta have X amount of hours. Do they all have to be in the canoe? Should they be in the C2? Should they be in the C1? Bill, what if I don't like salad? What if I like the chicken wrap and the french fries and the pickles? These french fries are absolutely disgusting, by the way. The wrap is alright. Doubled up because I was like, man, Order DoorDash, you never know what you're gonna get. Is one thing gonna be good, the other thing gonna be bad? Yeah, safety first, right? I'll pay a little extra when I'm on the road just to make sure that I actually get something that I enjoy eating without having to like go out into the real world. Cause I'm in a city tonight, and cities are frightening. I mean, not really in the suburbs. And I don't really have that answer either. But I'll tell you this, okay? And this is something that I've learned, kind of watching and observing, doing a little bit of side coaching, stuff like that. A runner needs to run. A swimmer needs to swim. A cyclist needs to cycle. And a paddler needs to paddle. Okay? So at some level, some quantity of hours really need to be in there. Now that doesn't mean that you have to do X amount of hours. Like Jordan Wakely probably getting a boat tomorrow and dust most of us, right? And I don't even know when last time he was in a canoe. Ryan Halstead, same way. Steve Lajoie could probably take 6 months off and be like, I'm going to cycle from Quebec to Belize and back and not paddle. And then he could get in a canoe and smoke every one of us. Andy Treebolt comes back and just dusts us. Like, look, there's exceptions to the rule, okay? But those people have incredible paddling technique. They've got incredible muscle memory. They've got incredible cardiovascular systems. That's not the rest of us. We cannot base our decisions. One of the lessons that I've learned is that we cannot base our decisions on the absolute elite. And even then, the absolute elite cannot base their decisions, their training, how they use that time, on what everybody else does. Even the other elites. The pointy of the bell curve in endurance sports is full of athletes that are two things, in my opinion. They're consistently boring, meaning they do what they have to do every day in, day out. Doesn't matter what's going on. They get it done. It's not a hero effort. It's not, some super secret workout, anything like that. It's just consistency over years and years and years. And with that consistency, they have learned what they need specifically in their salary in order to become what they are today. And that probably took a lot of input from others, as well as a lot of self-learning, self-reflection on what their unique needs were at that time. So that's really the question that I want to ask each and every one of you today. As we roll into 2026, another fantastic year of canoe racing. We're on the verge. Are you eating what you need to in your salad? Or are you just eating what you like? There is no wrong answer. But if you're not eating what you need to, and you're only eating what you like, and you're only eating the quantity that you like, you have to accept